shift has just been my ability to accept abundance. Just my ability to do that without feeling guilty or, just receiving. I think that ability to receive in a way that's bigger than I knew or was comfortable with before. And, in a tangible way, I was able to, like I said, with the sound bath, start charging for those, but also selling packages that I would have been maybe too scared to even tell somebody about. I had an idea shortly after the course for a new service where I would do a full retreat day with someone. And I just started telling the people that I thought needed that retreat about it. And, it was a high ticket item that I'm sure in the past either would have really undervalued the price of it, or wouldn't have told anybody. And now if I think it's the right thing for someone, then I tell them about it and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you for telling me about this. Like, I would love to do that offer. And I don't offer it to everybody, but it's something I wouldn't have even thought to do. And, in one day of a retreat day, I can pay my whole month rent, so it's just like, I mean, it's basically, where I was scrambling to be like, am I going to be making enough to pay this rent for this? I have this beautiful office building that looks like a Victorian house. I mean, it's gorgeous. And it's something where when just to even go in there was like, can I even be in this space? And now it's like, oh, I totally can. And it's expanded, I guess, what I feel like I can receive and made me feel good about it rather than feeling like, oh, I don't deserve that, or, this isn't whatever, good, I guess. Yeah. And I think the other piece was when we did the work on kind of ancestors and parents and kind of what came in from them, really seeing that. So when it's not like I don't still have those thoughts come up, but I immediately am able to recognize them and go, oh, that's the thing from my mom, or that's the thing, from this person or this side of the family. And I'm able to let it go. It's more like I'm observing it and going, oh yeah, of course I'm feeling like this right now because I have this energy that I was around so long. And I'm able to make a different decision based on like where I want to go. So that's shifted too.
I love that. That's a really good tool to be able to use going forward in everything. Because
yes,
I find that I do it with, not just money, but other things. And I can hear my mum saying it. I'm like, oh, that's where that came from, or my dad, or just your family's, not good, not bad, not in a judgmental way, but just understanding your family's energy around money and around certain things, even the energy you felt in the air as a kid when money was mentioned or talked about. Was there tension, or was there ease and flow with it? So that's one of my favorite bits too. What would have happened if you think you hadn't enrolled? How would your abundance have gone if you hadn't enrolled, do you think?
I think there'd still be a lot more frustration and a lot more of exactly what you said earlier, of all of a sudden scrambling to come up with some more offers to like, oh, what can I sell? Or can I do a flash sale? Or, how can I like bring somebody in this week right now to make my money goal for the month? Because that's how things were going. It was a lot of frustration and hustle and pushing with very poor results. like they didn't always work. It maybe would get a little bit, but I was scrambling and pushing a lot and spending a lot of energy. And I think I'd probably still be doing that. So I don't think I'd be offering all the services that I am now, like on that higher level of, the retreat days and things like that. So I feel like it let me expand into something bigger than what I was already offering and reach people almost in a deeper way. I feel like I was keeping my offers low and affordable and simple, rather than now I'm charging enough that if I want to go over 10 minutes in a session, or give somebody some extra handouts, or just throw some extra things in it just because I feel like, ooh, I really want to give that. It's like coming from the space where I don't feel like that's taxing on me. I'm not going to resent that. I'm not going to be like, oh, I should have sold that to them. It's just like lets me work in an abundant thing for my client too.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
love that. So more of an equal energetic exchange where
Mm-hmm.
you feel safe in that. You don't feel that people are inadvertently taking advantage of you, or that your boundaries aren't in place as they should be. You come at it from a place of, no, I am well compensated for this, so
Yeah.
I can use my discretion when I want to in my sessions. Yeah, I love
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's giving from like not a place of like, I need to earn their, like, oh, please work with me. It's more like, this is great. Ooh, why don't you have this too? Because it would help you, and it's like, I'm still able to yeah, give because I do like giving, but it's in a way that isn't desperate or,
yeah.
giving like a please like me. It's not like that. It's more like, oh, you're great. Here, have this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it feels better. And then it's an equal energetic exchange, like you said. I think it feels so much better.
Love to hear that.
Yeah.
So if you could pinpoint one part of the program that was most valuable, either content or the way it was delivered or anything, what do you feel was the most valuable part of it for you?
I feel like the most valuable part was being able to kind of learn how to work with the gates, and especially like when you did the gates of the G Center, because that is something I can keep going back to. And it's like, it's not a one and done kind of thing. This work has layers. And the fact that I now have that tool and I know how to look into those things, and even working with, daily transits and things like that, just understanding what's going on in those in a deeper way and how to work with them. I mean, that's kind of why I came up with that contemplation exercise. That you had the contemplation exercise and I was like, okay, I want to spend so much time in this, and I get distracted, so that's why I made the guided meditation to keep me a little bit focused. But I think just being able to contemplate those gates and understand the way that you explained them made so much sense, because I could look them up, but that didn't click. Like just looking at them wasn't enough, and the way that you kind of went through them with us and explained more and how they mean, for you and or for us. And then the other piece was that motivation around money. I think that was the other thing that really clicked, was learning what motivated me around money, because it's so different than everybody else in my life. And so I think that's part of why those other programs wouldn't work for me, because they were motivated for different reasons. And mine is celebration. And they don't talk about that in any, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like something they're like, oh yeah, so do this so you can have a big party for your family or take all your friends out to dinner or whatever. And so whenever I would make money, I'd always want to take my family on vacation. And my husband would be like, savings and investment and make things better. And I was just like, what? That's so boring. Not that it's not important, but
it's not.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it's not important
why you
to,
desire money.
it's not why I desire money. Yeah. So understanding my desire for money helped me, one, like figure out ways to motivate myself in that, because the other ways, if I have this idea or a list or goals, or if I write what kind of vacation I want to take, that's going to motivate me more than so I think that was a huge piece, and not feeling bad about the fact that I didn't have care about savings and investments, and I say that like I know we need those things, but they just didn't make me excited at all.
Yeah, they know you understand that they're another tool that we can use, but they're the main motivation. Like now it's like looking inside and going, oh, that's why I desire money. That's what it for. I love that.
And that's what can help me focus on what do I want and what does that look like in a way that's different than it just clicks with me more.
So for those watching, just to summarize what Heather was saying there, what Heather was talking about was the pre-work. So that's abundance keys of the G Center that you get access to straight away. So we go through each of the gates in the G Center, and we also talk about what happens if I don't have any gates defined. and how each of those energies becomes magnetic to abundance. The other thing that Heather mentioned is the motivation, like why I desire money. So we do that in the Pearl sequence. We look at some of the energies in your sequence, because depending on what line you have in a specific sphere, means you desire money for very different things. So that what me and Heather, for instance, are motivated by are very different. So once you understand what that internal drive is, like Heather said, you can use it for manifestation. It sounds like you've used it to manifest those things that you desire as well, which is great. And the last thing is, Heather has very kindly gifted us the meditation that she mentioned there, about contemplating your gene keys, which has been, as I was preparing to reopen Money Cartography this time, Heather messaged me and it just kind of landed in my awareness, and I feel like it was put there for a reason. So Heather's kindly offered it, and we can have it, whoever enrolls can have it as a bonus this time, and previous students will get it as well. So did you want to just talk a little bit about how that kind of came to be and why you created it, Heather? Because it's the only one that I've found that actually does that specifically. So you're very welcome to share about
So that's why I created it, because I was looking for that. So I was contemplating the gene keys, and I do tend to get distracted. I really like guided meditations because they can keep my focus better than me just sitting silently. And I say that, and I teach meditation, but it's just, everyone has a different style. And for me, guided is so much easier. And so I was looking on YouTube, I was looking on Insight Timer, I was like all over the place, like somebody surely has done this, and they didn't. And then I was talking with my accountability partner, actually, that we talk about human design, and I was like, well, maybe I just need to make one. And she's like, please make one. And I was like, really, you want that too? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll make one. So the way that I write meditations is I kind of walk myself through it. I literally like put my laptop on my lap and close my eyes, and I just, have a Google Doc open and type it in as I'm guiding myself through the meditation. And then later I fix all the spelling, and there's crazy errors because my eyes are closed. But that's how I go through it, is I'll guide myself through the meditation. And so as I was leading myself through it, I decide, how long, where do we need to go next, and what does that need to be like? So that's how I came up with it. Yeah, but it was basically a little selfish because I wanted one for me, but then I'm like, okay, I should share this with people.
Perfect. Serves you, serves us all. I just absolutely love it. I can't say enough good things about it. So just the last couple of questions. Who do you think Money Cartography is great for? Who do you think it's good for?
I think it's good for anybody who's feeling kind of stuck in a loop with money, or a loop or a rut where you feel like you're trying to do something different, you're trying to shift into a different belief system, a different, income level, or just shifting out of where you're at, and it's not working, and you just kind of keep sinking back into the same patterns, the same, feelings. Or if you're having trouble charging your worth, or even thinking that you're allowed to charge your worth, like, you may know somewhere deep inside you that that's not true, but everything, and maybe even everybody around you is saying that you shouldn't. That would be a good person to take this class. And I think definitely entrepreneurs who are, self-employed, because we are by ourselves all the time, and we have a lot of advertising and things coming at us as a solo business owner that are like, you need to do it this way, you need to do it that way. Like, there's a lot of marketing classes and all these different things, and I feel like this gets all the noise out and lets you figure out what you actually want, and those pieces that are important to you, like, rather than doing everything everybody else says. And especially if you have an open head center, definitely. I do too. And it's like, oh, I should do this, oh, I should do that. So yeah, so I think that's my short version of who should enroll. Yeah,
I love it. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing so generously. I love
Yeah,
you.
you're
I really
welcome.
appreciate you. And I love the meditation that you've made available to us as well. It's so generous. Can you share where people can find you if they want to know more about your incredible work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on Instagram at Heathir Brown, but Heathir Brown is spelled a little differently. It's Heathir Brown instead of ER. So my website is also heatherbrown.com. So those are the two places. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You've been so generous in sharing. And I'm sure anyone that's contemplating money cartography will find this helpful. So thank you so much and
Yeah,
enjoy.
you're welcome. Yeah, it was great chatting.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.